Are you willing to put time in your next move? And a lot of people say things like, I'm not a morning person. I don't really know what that means. I have 24 hours in the day. I try to take advantage of every hour.
What does the process of reinvention look like?
I would tell you this, fear. I feel that most people are staying in their jobs or working things, or even marriage or relationships, because they fear change. Can I do better? Can I get a better opportunity? Will somebody hire me? Will somebody date me? Will somebody marry me? Will somebody want my kids that I have? That's a fear, and people don't want to make change. So I don't just take it from just an entrepreneurial standpoint. I take that conversation to the social behavior of people when they don't want to make adjustments because they've already told themselves they can't do it. And when you make adjustments, when you stop yourself first, really is sad. Because let somebody else tell you what you cannot do. But in the process of that, prepare for success. In other words, are you willing to put time in your next move? And a lot of people say things like, I'm not a morning person. I don't really know what that means. I really don't. I have 24 hours in the day. I try to take advantage of every hour. And I have certain rules that I initially tell people on a regular basis. If you want to start living a successful life, start locking into a consistent time that you should get up every day. Don't let it deviate. If you say get up at 8 o'clock, don't hit the snooze and get up at 8:30. I get up at 4:30. That's just my time. I'm not a happy guy getting up, but that's a goal I set. And I'm gonna just tell you this honestly: if you're about to make a change in your life and you feel uncomfortable, that's the best feeling you can have, because for the first time in your life, you're making a decision that's going to be best for you, and not what somebody told you to do. And that's when all bets are off, man, because you're about to enter some uncharted waters that's going to force you to challenge yourself to be perfect in so many ways. And shooting for perfection is all good. You don't shoot for average, because you're not going to hit all the time. If you shoot for perfection and you hit good or great, you're winning. Don't ever shoot for average. I just try to get people to understand, don't be average. I always tell people that you have to make adjustments to achieve your goals. And if you're not really happy about where you're at, well, guess what? There's change is needed, especially millennials. Some of the things that you're going to do in life is not tied to a check. Don't guide your life by how much you're going to be paid, but how much you get out of it, the opportunity. That's really key. Not how much you're getting paid, but how much you're going to get out of the opportunity. When I look at my life, here's a guy who's going from a regular paycheck to retirement, security, because at that time IBM had never laid off anybody in the history of that company. Wow. To traveling from gig to gig for $75 for a meal. And that was my world, but that was my dream. Understand this, is that if you're willing to pursue your dream, then your goals change and your level of sacrifice change. Was I afraid? Yes. Was I certain was I certain there was certainty in what I was doing? No. But also in the back of my mind, I'm gonna tell you, I cheated a little bit. I said I could always go back to IBM. I cheated myself. And then finally after a year I went, stop cheating yourself.
Why was it cheating yourself?
Because when you want to do something in your life, you don't put options out there. You don't put a B plan. You know, this is what you want to do. You commit to it. Well, how am I going to do stand-up and say I want to do stand-up, but I'm still thinking about going back to IBM? Those are two different lanes of activity. And quite frankly, I was not satisfied in that previous lane. So why is that an option now? And so that's why I was cheating myself until I went, this is what you want to do it. And started performing on cruise ships.
What changed in that moment that's so powerful? Did you start working more? Like, what happens in your actual tangible life when you make that decision?
I'm gonna tell you, when I moved to New York, there's two moves in New York I gotta tell you about. First time I went to New York, because I moved to New York in '88. I was hot as a comic. I was being Rushion. And everybody thought I was a star. I remember the guy at the Improv walked up to me and said, "You're the next one." And he said that, I said, well, I'm sorry, I work for IBM. He said, you need to quit. You got it. And so that was Rushion there, okay? That was Rushion, no hold bars. That was Rushion McDonald doing his own thing. Cut to '88. I go to New York. I walk on stage. trying to be something I thought they wanted me to be. I thought they wanted me to be the next Eddie Murphy. I thought they wanted me to be the clean like Bill Cosby. So I walked on stage and was rejected every time I was on stage because I was not. So I always tell people, if you're gonna go down being you. First of all, it's usually tied to you taking risk. You know, and I think I don't want to jump around because upstairs we were talking, I was telling you in 2016 I had to find my voice again.
Right.
And that's at the highest level of my life, you know, when people could just Google me and say I'm a success. And so know that.
And when you say reinvent in 2016, you're saying leave Steve Harvey and start your own thing.
Absolutely. And that was a very powerful decision that I had to make in my life to say, who is Rushion McDonald? Because as you become successful, people will have definitions of who you are and also proclaim your level of success for what you should be accomplishing. So back then, I was just a guy who just trying to make a check, man. I was just trying to be funny. Know that now. Those are simple standards. If you keep it simple, you can find your voice. And also know that you operate off short-term goals. When you don't know where you're going in life, do not look 4 years down the line. Do not look 2 years or a year. You look next week, next month. You keep your goals short. And that way, as you accomplish those goals, then you can start piling up little trophies or little moments to know that you're actually accomplishing something. You're actually climbing the steps to success. When people make the mistake in their goals, they put too many. They put a like say, not so insurmountable goal, but a goal that doesn't allow them to qualify success quick enough. And so I always tell people, shorten your goals, shorten your window, and that's how you find your voice. You cannot find your voice if you're trying to, if you say, I'm coming to Hollywood to be a star. Okay, well, you might want to work at Home Depot first. And then grab that check, get stable, and start creating relationships, start taking the acting class. See, those are goals that you can achieve. But if you come in here just to be a star in entertainment, or you going to college and you're trying to graduate in 4 years, and what you're going to do, it confuses people. That's why a lot of today's millennials, they see short-term success as a faster way of finding their voice versus a college degree, especially when so much debt is promised to you when you get your college degree. If you say you want to do something, put it on an 8 to 5 schedule. Take a lunch break. And if you really committed to your life, I swear to you, on that first day of work, probably about an hour, you're going to be done with your career because you hadn't put enough time in it. Now, you look at Rushion McDonald. I know how to do PDFs. I know how to do PowerPoints. I know how to do Excel. I know how to do accounting. I know how to do the press release. I know how to edit. I know all these things I had to learn in my 40-hour week. It wasn't just be going on stage and telling jokes. It wasn't just be writing scripts. It's writing sketches, going at night. That's part of my 40-hour week. And what people don't do is they don't even put 40 hours of work into their own career, but then they get mad when somebody asks them to put 40 hours of work so they can get paid. That's why I go back to that thing. A standard job gives you the tools for you to be successful as an entrepreneur. It tells you you have to work a certain time period. When you're working a certain time period, you have to be committed to certain tasks each day, and you have to complete those tasks. You carry that same principle to yourself as an entrepreneur. Very simple. And when I tell people a general light bulb pops off, then when they try to apply, they see exactly what I'm saying. After about an hour, they don't know what they're doing with their career because they've never in their lives sat down with a plan. And from that day moving forward, they will start understanding the value of how much work it takes to be successful in the chosen field that they've chosen to be successful in. I was trying to figure out who Rushion was by myself. And that's terrible because you gotta have people around you that tell you you're great, gotta remind you you're special, gotta remind you who you are and what you've accomplished. Because it's a general take is that as you build your life, you kind of narrow your accomplishment. In fact, you kind of throw away your successes. And so that's why it's important to have people in your life that are there to pump you up, to tell you, no, you've never done it that way like that before. You're committed to a certain plan of opportunity. Rushion, you shouldn't do it that way. You got to have a team to remind you of what you can do and what you've done. That's important. If you don't have a team and you're trying to rock it by yourself, you're just gonna be frustrated. And I kid you not, you will fail. You gotta have relationships. Not only personal relationships, but business relationships.